So January 26, 2008, I was working off duty at a local mall. And so just for people who don't know what working off duty means is, so I was technically off duty, but private businesses will hire the police. You're in full police power, you're full police uniform, but the business pays you, and they also pay the city for the use of their gas and things like that. So it benefits both. We were alerted of a shoplifter. We wouldn't be able to make it to where they were at because we were on the north side of the mall. It was coming out like the south side of the mall. So we decided to bring it up on camera. As we brought it up on camera, you saw a white male and a black male exit the store. Loss prevention exits right behind them, identifies themselves as loss prevention. And the white male that was with them physically fought loss prevention right there. So at that time, I had to hang the phone up with my wife. Me and my partner take off running. We were trying to get out there to see if anyone needed any assistance. But by the time we got there, the white male was already in custody and they were escorting him back towards the mall. So we stopped and talked to loss prevention, asked them if everything's all right. They said, yes, everything's fine, but the black male also stole something and we would like him apprehended. And I was like, all right, well, where's he at? So he points out across the parking lot about 75 yards away, there's a bus stop that's like next to the expressway. And the suspect separated himself kind of to see what was happening with his friends. So he points him out to us. Me and my partner see him. He sees us see him, that big aha moment. And then boom, he takes off running and we go give chase. So it happened at 7:40 at night. So we had to play Frogger. There was like a 6-lane expressway right there. So we had to play some Frogger to get across that. And then into a parking lot of a strip mall. Well, the suspect ran like straight towards the strip mall. We were cutting through the parking lot because he got caught by the strip mall and had to run along the front. So we ran through the parking lot. Right before he made the corner of the strip mall, I could see that his legs, he got the wobble legs. He was tired. He almost fell. And I was like, all right, I got this guy. So what me and my partner's SOP has always been, he's a big old joker, can bench press a Mack truck, but he's got a 40-yard sprint. That's what he's got. So our SOP has always been, I'll chase him. He keeps us in sight. He'll get on the radio so I don't have to worry about it. He brings the troops in. So I look over at him. We're still together at this point. I say, hey, I'm going to go get him. He's like, all right. So I just, pick it up and go to the corner and I draw my taser because at that point, I got possible retail theft and resisting an officer somewhat. He hadn't really dealt with me yet. So I rounded the corner, had my taser out, and, told him to stop. Hey, we need to go back. We need to figure this out. Well, he turns around and looks at me. He puts his hands up about like this. And then he just keeps walking back. I keep telling him to stop. And then shortly into that, just turns around, takes off running again. So I give him a few more commands, stop, or I'm going to tase you. Probably more than I typically would do on duty because I didn't know if I was fully, I don't know if it's because I didn't really want to do the paperwork, for tasing somebody off, or my mind wasn't right yet. Like it just wasn't, because on duty, that dude would have been tased. So I didn't know if I flipped the switch yet. So, but he didn't stop. So I said, all right, well, he's going to get it. So I put the dot on his back, squeezed the trigger, held it there for what seemed like an eternity, and nothing happened. So then I looked down at the back of my taser and the LED readout's just counting down on the back. So it's gone tits up. So at that point, I'm really close to him because I was closing that gap. I had to safe it, holster it, secure it, and then go hands-on with him. He was wearing a black hooded zip-up sweatshirt. So when I reached out, my plan was I was going to reach out, grab him by the hood, dump him to the ground. I was going to go to the ground with him. And I've always been good fighting on the ground. So I just wanted to, be on the ground with him. So as soon as I put my hand on that hood to dump him, he spun his right arm real high and broke my grip and then came to rest facing me. And the key thing that I remember about it is how his body was bladed and he had his hands up on his fists covering his jaw. And I was like, boom, we're fighting. He's in a fighting position. And that was the key thing of recognizing that I was in a fight. It wasn't someone trying to get away. So as soon as I saw that, I grabbed him from behind his head, brought him in close, and I started giving him some headbutts and some elbows to the side of the face and knee strikes, still trying to get him to go to the ground. I was going to take him to the ground. My partner would come up. We'd take him into custody. Well, seconds into that, he produced a .45 caliber Glock from somewhere on his body. I never recognized any of the signs. I didn't say I couldn't see it but I didn't recognize them. I didn't hear the shot. I didn't hear anything. I felt a heavy impact to my face, and I fell down to my left because we were on it's a dried up retention pond, about a 25-yard circumference. So you can imagine that's about 4 feet deep, like a sand trap pretty much, but just covered in grass. And we were on the top of it. Well, I started falling down there, and as I'm rolling down there to my left, I'm thinking, Jared, get up, get up, get up. He hit you with a good punch. Get up, get up, get up. Well, before I came to rest, my jaw was collapsed on top of itself, and my teeth were laying horizontal in my mouth. So I was like, well, this is more than something. And then I look up at him. He's standing on top of the embankment, standing over top of me, shooting me. And when I recognized that I was in a gunfight, I was like, oh, shit, I got something for you. Here we go. Stand by. Because, that's just how it was. So as I'm kind of orienting my body to him, drawing my gun and just probably shaking off the cobwebs a little bit, he started to walk away from me. And, that's where, he was at. He thought he murdered me, and he was walking away. And so I'm laying on my back. I start shooting from my back one-handed, shooting him, pushing on the ground, trying to get to my feet so I can get into a good fighting stance. I never made it to my feet because when I sat up to that big gross movement, he saw that and kept shooting me and then started coming back on me. So I was engaging him, fighting to get to my feet. That's one key thing that I always got to say. You got to fight to get to positions. You just don't get to a perfect position. You got to fight to it. So I fought to it, got to my knees. When I got to my knee and I was fighting, I could feel the pain in my left thigh and the pain in my right buttock. And I always tell people it didn't hurt. I was just aware of it. I could feel it, and it wasn't stopping anything, but I was like, all right, I'm hit more than what I thought. So I started engaging him, and he was coming straight at me. And every time that front sight would lay down on him, I'd give him another round. I'd give him another round. I'd give him another round. And what he started to do was kind of move off to my right. I started driving him over there, and he started showing me his back, kind of like a kid, trying to squirt you with a squirt gun and you're squirting him with a hose or something, how he's trying to outrun that stream. He was showing me that. So I just kept drilling him and drilling him and drilling him, but he kept coming and he kept coming. And that's the key thing that was instilled in me early in my career was bad guys are going to continue to what they do when you start shooting them until you put their lights out or they decide to do it. Bullets do not knock people back. They don't do anything. So it's going to be a conscious decision on his part, or it's going to be you putting his lights out. So that's what's going to stop fights. So I just kept giving it to him and giving it to him and giving it to him. And he got close enough to me. I was like, all right, I can reach out and I can grab him. So I reached up, I lunged up, grabbed him, pulled him to my chest. So now we're kind of like belly to back. So as soon as I get him belly to back, I fall over to the side and I put the muzzle to his head and I give him 3 contact shots to his head. And then after that, there was a culvert laying next to us. So this is where the training kicks in, was I knew I wouldn't be able to get up and handcuff him, but I wanted to contain him somewhere, and I wanted to get away from him and still keep cover on him. So what I did is I rolled him into a culvert, and I started kicking him while I'm laying on my back. I started kicking him into the culvert and pushing me away from the culvert, keeping cover on him until my partner could arrive. Then my partner arrived, verified the suspect was dead, then checked on me. And that's another thing that I always laugh about is kind of like when I saw my partner coming over the embankment, I got real oh, there's my best friend, and I just relaxed me, cool, this is over. And he comes down, he steps right over me, and then he's over there looking for the suspect. And I'm thinking, you son of a bitch, I'm down here shot, and you're trying to get some. But he was doing what he's supposed to do. He went pure training, kicked in, hey, I got to secure the scene before I start rendering aid. Then he went up and verified the suspect was dead, came back to me, great on the radio, great buddy aid. It was awesome. It just all flowed just like, every scenario you do in training. And it was pretty cool.
About how much time had passed from the time you initially began to at least try to tase the guy until your partner showed up?
Probably, 35 seconds, maybe. Nothing crazy, from tasing him to hands on to the gun. The gunfight was probably, just roughly with split times and stuff like that, probably 5 to 6 seconds, because I fired 14 rounds or whatever. So with that, it was fast and furious. You had to get on it.
And how many times were you struck and how many went into the armor?
Okay. So I struck 7 times. The first one hit my jaw, exited out my neck. I took 3 to cross the chest in my body armor, 1 through just above my left knee and exited up like my higher thigh. Took 1 in my buttock, my right buttock. It came in, hit my hip, cracked my hip, and then just lodged right there. And then I took like a furrow through the right elbow.
And you are a lefty?
Yes. But I mean, that furrow wouldn't have mattered any. I mean, it was a furrow. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, it just grazed me. So
the crazy thing is this story encapsulates exactly all the things people don't want to train for. They don't want to do the one-handed. They don't want to be in awkward positions. They don't want to shoot moving targets. This is, and the time it took for all this to go down. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Meat doesn't stand still when you shoot it.
Jared, so go ahead.
Yeah, 3 questions. Type of handgun you had, magazine capacity of handgun, what load did you have in the weapon? I'm sorry, 4 questions. And you said buddy aid was rendered. What buddy aid IFAC blowout kit type materials were available, or were they all field expedient?
Okay. I had a Glock 22, 40 caliber. We shot the Winchester Ranger SXTs, the 180 grain, capacity 16. Is that all those questions?
Yep.
And then buddy aid, it was all field expedient. And it wasn't much of like, you know, he's ripping stuff out and plugging holes, because I was bleeding, but it wasn't a gusher. Like, it didn't hit my femoral, it didn't hit anything. What it did for me is just how quick he went to it, of like stripping my vest off and feeling under my vest. And then what the main thing was is he started running his hands down my body, because, you know, like everyone always says, hey, you know, you gotta feel, because people aren't going to know they're shot. And I know when I took that, I was like, oh, bullshit, you're going to know when you're shot. I mean, who doesn't know they're shot? You know what I mean? Well, you don't feel it. Like, to me, like, getting shot felt eerily like Sims. Like, I can tell you that the first one was through my jaw. I could not tell you at any other point when those rounds hit me. And so that exit wound on my thigh, it was pretty big and it was bleeding the most. And when he started running his hands down my thighs, he sunk his thumb about that deep into that wound. And by the look of his face and him, you know, pulling his hand back, like, that's, you know, he found that so he can sit there and, you know, tell rescue, hey, he's got a big wound on his thigh. And so
it's this deep.
Yeah.
Hey, Jared, what were you, do you know what you were shot with, caliber, and if he was shooting ball or he was shooting some kind of hollow point?
Yeah, he was shooting a 45. He had a Glock 21. He was shooting 45 ball, 230 grain.
Where was he shot outside of the impact shots?
So he took through his right side, went in his right side, tore up his liver and his intestines and his stomach, never exited. When he was showing me his back. So if you imagine pure center mass hits right next to the spine, 2 dead in the spine. That's what I also talk about. Like, you know, you look at those hits and like, oh, those are pure showstoppers. Those are A-zone hits. Well, bullets do funny things when they hit meat. One did its job and pushed through and went through the ribs into the lung and then traversed up into the neck and severed the artery in the neck. So that's what I try to tell people also. You're going to spoil me off, but so he was dead right there. He never even would have been transported from that scene, but he continued to walk and he continued to pull a trigger on a gun. I mean, you can live your life, you know, you can fight till the lights go out, or you can, you know, cower down. He chose to fight till the lights go out. So you got to give him credit for that. But that's just something that you can do. And people will think, well, yeah, well, he's dead. Well, he's dead, but he had a lot of life in him before he left. And he, you know, trying to cause a lot of hate and discontent. So he had 2 there. The other one, though, punched in, hit his shoulder blade, traversed up, and came out of his trap. So it was a pure meat hit. I mean, it didn't hit any arteries. It didn't hit anything. Then he took 2 through the side of his face, 1 through the back of his head, and 1 right here in his right arm. Entered in here, hit the bone, you know, dumped all the energy of the bullet right there, and then hardly entered the chest cavity. So, I mean, every shot was good hits, but just bullets do funny things. You got to get good shots and just sit there and carry it out and burn them down.
Now, I remember the answer to this in a discussion we've had in the past. what do you prefer to carry? Not what you're issued, but what do you carry?
I carry a 9mm. So, I mean, it's just more rounds. The ballistics aren't enough to change anything. You can shoot it easier. You can get more rounds on target. You carry more rounds. And that's one thing, you know, like I carry a 19 off duty, and I carry a Terran tactical base plate, you know, and get me 5 more extra rounds. Because people need to seriously think, like, you know, what do you carry every day? You know, people carry 45s or whatever. I'm like, cool. Do you carry an extra mag? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, every single day? Like, you know, like when you put your board shorts on or you do whatever, you know, is it every single day? And they're like, well, you know, I'm like, bro, that's because I can do work with that gun. You know, it's got enough rounds in it. I can put that gun on and I feel safe. I like to carry an extra mag, but I'll tell you the truth, I don't carry an extra mag all the time. And it's just kind of how it is.